With all due respect to the Air Force, I believe that some of them will prove to be of interplanetary origin. During a 3-year investigation, I found that many pilots have described objects of substance and high speed. One case, pilots reported their plane was buffeted by an object which passed them at 500 miles an hour. Obviously, this was a solid object, and I believe it was from outer space.
Over Washington, D.C. in 1952, the daddy of all saucer sightings took place in the skies above the nation's capital. This caused a coast-to-coast collective jaw drop as a series of unexplained UFO encounters, seen far and wide, would become a footnote in the study of ufology. What were the lights over Washington, D.C. in 1952? If they weren't our own capabilities, then whose were they then? And why has incidents like these never been explained? Wait to hear this. This incident sent the media into overdrive, and across the country it was reported that strange flying objects had breached the airspace of the US Capitol. To this day, the incident remains a mystery. 1952 marked the year that UFO fever spread across Cold War America. Events in late July of that year spiked that mania to critical levels, and that's why we call it the daddy of all saucer sightings. This took place in the skies above the nation's capital, and it did cause a coast-to-coast collective jaw drop. Before the UFO incident, it was a quiet night in Washington, D.C. July the 19th, 1952. The city is calm, with the Capitol building illuminated in the background. And then, all of a sudden, the skies over Washington, D.C. became the stage for one of the most mysterious events in American history. What began as a routine night soon turned into a spectacle that would captivate the nation. At the Washington National Airport control tower, radar operators were monitoring the screens, and then, all of a sudden, they seen something on the radar moving fast. What they seen was not following any known flight paths, and so they thought it could be a malfunction. However, at various locations around Washington, D.C., people started to notice the lights in the sky. People were looking up, questioning, what are those lights? They had never seen anything like it, and they were moving too fast to be airplanes. As the night progressed, more and more people reported seeing these strange lights in the sky. The Air Force were scrambled to intercept the unidentified flying objects, but they were unable to catch them. The military scrambled jets, and one of the pilots was said to have a visual on the objects, but stated that they were moving too fast for us to intercept them. And so, the nation did not know what they were dealing with then nor now. A press conference was called, and a military leader said, "We are investigating the sightings, but at this time we believe they may be caused by temperature inversions, which can create radar anomalies." One reporter responded, "But what about the eyewitness reports? People are seeing these lights in the sky." And the general responded by saying, "We are taking all reports seriously and will continue to investigate." Despite the explanation of temperature fluctuations, many remain unconvinced. The sightings continued for several weeks. This fueled speculation and fear. The Washington Flap, as it became known, was one of the most intriguing UFO incidents in history. Was it a case of mistaken identity? Was it a natural phenomena or something more sinister? The truth may never be known, but this mystery endures. What do you guys think about the 1952 Washington Flap incident, where UFOs clearly appeared over the US Capitol? Comments below, and as always guys, thank you for
I'm
watching.
here to discuss the so-called flying saucers. The Air Force interest in this problem has been due to our feeling of an obligation to identify and analyze to the best of our ability anything in the air that may have the possibility of threat or menace to the United States. In pursuit of this obligation, since 1947, we have received and analyzed between 1,000 and 2,000 reports that have come to us from all kinds of sources. Of this great mass of reports, we have been able adequately to explain the great bulk of them, explain them to our own satisfaction. We've been able to explain them as hoaxes, as erroneously identified friendly aircraft, as meteorological or electronic phenomena, or as light aberrations. However, a certain percentage of this volume of reports that have been made by credible observers of relatively incredible things. It is this group of observations that we now are attempting to resolve. Our basic difficulty in dealing with these is that there is no measurement of them that makes it possible for us to put them in any pattern that would be profitable for a deliberate, custom sort of analysis to take the next step. We have, as of date, come to only one firm conclusion with respect to this remaining percentage, and that is that it does not contain any pattern of purpose or of consistency that we can relate with to any conceivable threat to the United States. Is that? We can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any department of the United States. We can say that the recent sightings are in no way connected with any secret development by any agency of the United States.
Watch me for the signal there, sir. Start.
I'll start when you throw it down.
Hold it, boys. Everybody ready?
Yeah. Major Keyhole, as author of the book Flying Saucers Are Real, what is your opinion of these new sightings of unidentified objects?
With all due respect to the Air Force, I believe that some of them will prove to be of interplanetary origin. During a 3-year investigation, I found that many pilots have described objects of substance and high speed. One case, pilots reported their plane was buffeted by an object which passed them at 500 miles an hour. Obviously, this was a solid object, and I believe it was from outer space.